Let me start with Comrade Barbara Hogan and start with Uncle Kathy, Comrade Ahmed, Comrade Mohammed, Comrade Kathrada, and fondly on Robben Island we always said Comrade Kathy. Uncle George, Baba George, he was telling us only yesterday about how he thinks he saved Comrade Kathrada from the gallows. And Comrade Kathrada told us how he made sure that they get a life imprisonment. But to see you here is just wonderful. And again, I'd like to acknowledge all of you who are here, members of the SRC, indeed our Deputy Vice Chancellor, and all of you young people who are here. I know the CEO of Kathrada Foundation is here, and indeed the family is here, and I would like to just say welcome, wearing a bit of my hat as Chancellor and not as a revolutionary. In 1964, 50 years ago, I met Comrade Kathy on Robben Island. He had just come off his conviction in the synagogue in the Livonia trial. He was only 35 years of age now. Was a young man, as you know, very good looking. But I must confess to my asking myself the question, what is this young Indian man doing here? Can you see the stereotype popping up? From an apartheid background. But by then, when the question popped up in 1964, he had been part of every major struggle that our people had had at the time. The Defiance Campaign of 1952, the treason trial of 1956 to 1961, a trial that lasted 5 years. Listen to me, you young people. And then came the Livonia trial. And that put him away. He picked up a life imprisonment. And that appeared to many that as though that was his final stop. And we were all wrong. And 26 years later, he emerges to become something truly special that he is. I'm really not here to talk about the history of Comrade Kathrada. All of you young people with such wonderful access to social media, the internet, go and look. You'll find thousands of hits in his name. Just try tonight. And you'll have a full realization of who we are honoring today. Or perhaps you should watch the film that Comrade Barbara and others yesterday watched on Comrade Kathy to see just what a giant of our struggle we are remembering here. And what is important to me is not Robben Island and 26 years, it is what his life tells us. And what his life tells all young progressive people of this country. It tells us that there are abiding values of our glorious struggle for freedom, democracy, and equality. It tells us that freedom springs from hard sacrifices. Freedom flows from selflessness. Comrade Kathy's life represents the lust of those women and men who had lived their lives in a manner faithful to the very simple but dependable values of our struggle. And those are values of human decency. First, Comrade Kathy, you teach us, don't you, that when we enter public terrain, we do so to serve. We must serve others and not ourselves. There are places where we may choose to serve ourselves, and that is pretty fine. But that should not be so if we enter the public space. We must do more than say, but to be. We must do more than mouth pious leftist slogans. We must have the people sit at the center of our public preoccupation. In other words, I'm saying to you, young people, for me, Comrade Kathy represents what honest public representatives should be. We must not allow that there should be distance between morality, or simply put, between goodness and our public conduct. We must be good moral agents in the public space, because he is. He exudes incredible honesty. There cannot be public good, my young children, in the vortex of deceit and dishonesty, something that is far removed from his excellent sterling character as a revolutionary. We who want to lead, and I am a leader where I work, we must work hard. In that way, we will teach our people how to work hard. We cannot change our society if we are lazy as leaders, or public representatives, or public officials. Only yesterday we were told just how hard Comrade Kathrada still works. We are told that he often complains that he cannot account for what he did between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. when he was awake. He's worried about that. We know how you have espoused many struggles for justice around the world, Comrade Kathy, including the struggles of the people of Cuba, and including the struggles of the people of Palestine. We know that you spend a lot of time doing work through your foundation, nurturing young people about values of our democracy, about values of non-racialism, which are so central to our humaneness, to equality, to all the good things that our revolution stands for. Therefore, my message to you, my children, my dear students, and my fellow revolutionaries, I just want to leave you with that thought. We're celebrating a leader who works extremely hard, and we must learn to work hard to change our situation. We cannot defeat the triple burdens of poverty, unemployment, and ignorance on the back of indolence unless everyone, particularly in the public space, like me, who's a public servant, we work our behind off in order to improve this country. Lastly, as I sit down, this is my way of commemorating the great life of Comrade Kathy. We as a people must learn to place a high premium on financial probity, on financial hygiene. We as leaders, we may not steal from those we lead. We hold public assets and funds in trust. We hold them for the people. It bears repetition that all money that the state has comes from the people. It is meant to advance the primary interests of the people, particularly vulnerable people. And Ahmed Kathrada has everything to do with what I have just said. That's part of his fundamental values. He lives a simple life. He has no blue lights around him. He has never hankered for big public office, although it was within his grasp. He could have simply have turned to a belated and beloved leader, Comrade Nelson Mandela, and pointed at the position he wanted, or the public office that was his political prize. He would have got it. He did not do that. He understood so well that it was not about him, who suffered so much for us, but it was about other people. For that reason, he will not take from you not even a penny. He will be the first to give you a penny. He will drive in a little Toyota so that he can advance the goodness of the revolution that we paid so much for. Ahmed Kathrada, we thank you for such exemplary, such comradely and revolutionary life. And as you know, you are my favorite revolutionary. No applause? And as I wake up every morning to go and do my job as your servant, as a judge, you're one of those people who ring in my head, who represent those wonderful values I started with, that our long struggle has taught us. Many more happy returns. Thank you for listening, and a mantra to you, comrade. Good night. God bless.